the meaning to all life, and every single life is magical, and there is so much meaning to every single person that can ever walk the earth, and it is in fact a sacred life, a sacred way, and a sacred order of things. People always go through life always questioning what they always want to know, but in the end they will find their own truths, their own perspective, and will grow upon that, and grow more and more and more as time goes on. And that is the main point, is that time will move on, and people will become more educated and create more educated guesses across an entire infinitum of unanswered questions. But also, the rise of a more spiritual nation. The rise of everything that has come before. Everything will come to a specific head, and everything will become magical. Everything will always be the way it aspires to be, to create change, to aspire a certain type of growth to the overall consciousness of the human mind. Will always be. There is always a certain divine way of things, where people will always aspire and create change to whatever is needed. And mankind has always had tools, spiritual tools, to crack through the evolutionary cycle of everything that has existed. But yet, people always kind of fail to understand the natural cycles of time. And the natural cycles of time will always just be that. It will be a more beautiful view, a more charitable view, more artistic, saying that time is always going to be a dance. Time is always going to be fruitful. And time will always be behind everybody's back. But yet again, it's not, because, again, death comes and takes the perceiver away from all the other perceivers. So perspective, again, fails. But yet again, a new generation will rise with another perspective. This creates culture and change within that culture. And there's always going to be a culture. No matter how far you get away from it, there will always be a perspective, an overarching perspective, and people will always have similar views. That is what you call a herded culture. And people who are a herd don't think that different from everybody else. They are always going to be, in a way and in a form, indoctrinated to follow everybody else's beliefs and everybody else's opinions. Kind is always going to be on a stroll towards what you would seem ultimate doom, but yet again, you cannot have creation without destruction, so people will always overemphasize the destruction rather than take pity or have a heart and find something better and something more creative as a culture. People will always find different ways and different means to say the same thing as well. Because, again, there is nothing new under the sun. People will always find a way to spark creativity in every single creative way to say things, or anything creative thing to say. People will always just find something. But currently mankind is awakening once again, and sheathing off a skin like a snake. But yet they move kind of like a snail. People always want to be more revolutionary and more evolutionary in thought, and school a whole bunch of philosophicals. But they will never really get past their own weakness. And everybody has their own weakness. But right now, mankind is awakening. We are starting to see things more in a logical way. And we are going to keep seeing things in more logical ways. And we will keep awakening mankind. Because, again, the question is, why not? Why would you want another dark age when you could have another golden age of technology, of technological advancement, of all of these things? Or you can have a dark age. Everybody's conspiring and religious, you know? Or you can try a new age, or a new form of philosophical thought, and try to create something new within the old. And always creating something will always be the specific human, but also mankind's asphyxiation. It's more of a sexual urge to create, because sexuality is, in fact, the root of all consciousness of existence. All existence, all consciousness. Because reproducing, you pass off genes, and scientifically, you can allow the species to adapt and change according to your own will. People will always have things to say. Try to make it the best you can. Everything is always going to have a purpose. Everything is always going to be that way. Because, again, mankind is always pretty much mentally adapting to every single situation. Mankind will always be its own change. Mankind will be its own light within the darkness of ignorance. And, of course, darkness, in a sense, will always be a form of ignorance. But yet again, you cannot have your light without your darkness. To learn to merge yin and yang instead of opposing yourself. Do you think in this universe there is good and evil at all? Why not just merge that and become something that would merge with the rest of the universe? To conspire change within the rest of humanity. There's always going to be those type of people that don't want change. They want their old school ways to win. But yet mankind will always have its star moments. Because every man and woman is a star. We are the inspiration of change, adaptation, to find growth, and yet to find salvation within yourself. Find salvation within yourself, in your own fibers of your being. Create something new and passionate, and glory to yourself, and glory to your loved ones, and find something just to attach to. Find something, and be glorious, and always stay a golden star. Always stay that way. Always stay with the stars, because you cannot adapt change without them. Stars are like a shining light. Find it. Find your own passions, and be everything you aspire to be. And find information, knowledge. Don't be afraid to know what knowledge is, because the golden age is knowledge. It's change as well. Aspire to as many stars as is in your heart. Aspire to more stars than what's in the sky at night.